Hey, how's it going? We're here in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota at the Directorii and Roofing Insights World Headquarters. A little behind the scenes, and I'm gonna ask the questions that you all have on your mind.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic.
Dmitry, how you doing?
Good, how are you, brother?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Give me a little overview of what you got going on here. I know that this is the new podcast space. You always have the best cameras. What kind of cameras are these, by the way?
This is Magic's, Black Magic. We have 3 of those. It's pretty much cinematic camera. We just use it for the podcast here.
Come here, I want to show you this this little switchboard they got. This thing, they do the live switches. Igor's right here. Master's at this.
This is very cool. This is very special, very emotional. If you guys remember Dustin Bigler, I went to his funeral. So Dustin Bigler loved trees, so he was planting a lot of trees. But they have his age trees, like 40 of them, did not have any of this part, so it was just a little stick. And they asked if you can take it home, and I, flew in a plane. If you can take it home and plant it, and there was an email, send us how it's growing. So I took this. It's high Baki, come in the office, or from the trip, I water it, and I think about Dustin Bigler and his legacy.
So with this new Business Hats podcast, you're actually collecting hats.
But yeah, people who come here, they give us a hat, and we give them a hat.
You've got a theme going here. This podcast setup is nice. It feels clean. We got hoops. We got the break room. We got, I think this is Dmitry's office.
Yep.
We've got video editors in here.
We have 3 guys here, so we actually have 3 full-time videographers.
Yeah.
Ryan here specializing in ads. Justin is content manager. We have Blaine who pretty much edits our videos. If you watch today's video, Why Roofers Fail, it was all Blaine.
So let's do a little introduction of the team. We've heard
Sure.
enough from Dmitry.
Sure.
What are you working on today?
I'm working on the roofing school video.
What are you working on today?
So I am working on basically creating a front end of content for publishing on all of our different platforms. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know if you've met Jade, but she's currently on maternity leave.
Yeah, she's in the office. She's in the office next door normally.
Yes, yeah. And so I'm kind of helping to relieve some of those duties while she's out of the office, and then also just taking care of the YouTube channel.
Can we just talk about for a second how these guys all kind of look similar? Why do these guys all look like cousins? That is one thing to, if you have any conspiracy theories, post them below. So what are you up to today?
I'm doing some of the content from the Roofing Process conference that we got filmed recently, just some of the breakouts from some of our great speakers.
Who's your favorite speaker that you've edited so far?
Honestly, I really like, oh boy, I'm going to make some enemies here.
You got to. There's the only way to do it.
I'll tell you right now, I like the Johns right now. There's John Cenac and John DeRosa. A lot of really good insight, and I just like how they communicate their information in a very straightforward and this is the stuff you need to know kind of way. And
both absolute beasts.
Yeah.
Can I get a little sub piece of content here? What's the secret to a good YouTube thumbnail? What have you guys seen really perform well?
Well, you got to be making some kind of face like, and then you got to have some kind of really bold, bright text and just point right where you want the person to look because we got no time for wandering eyes.
Also, something that I've seen that people do, like, you have to almost bring it down to tiny size while you're editing and look like, is this readable?
Yeah,
and kind of do I get?
You got to zoom way out, and you're just like looking at like ant, and just like, can I read this on a phone? Great.
Any other tips you guys have quick for thumbnails? We'll give a little mini piece of content here.
Yeah, so with thumbnails especially, you want bright colors and high contrast, so that way it really pops against the background of YouTube and any other thumbnails that are there. You also don't want to overload the viewer with too much information. You want to give them just enough so that way they're intrigued by the video, but they don't feel like they've actually already watched it. So if you're putting, your entire title in the thumbnail of the video, they're going to feel like they've already got everything that they need. But if you put just enough that it intrigues them and makes them think, oh, I want to know what else this person has to say or what else this story is about, then that's going to make them want to click on the video and keep watching.
I feel like Dmitry's always done this very well, where he like kind of puts an open loop in your mind. It's like if you don't watch that video, you missed out on something.
But I want to add to that. I want to add to thumbnail. It's a team effort. I cannot tell you how many times I walked in here, even yesterday. You have to check your ego at the door. It's not what you think or what you like. You have to show the team and let them vote and decide which one is better. Like every time I do thumbnail, we usually have anywhere from 3 to 30 versions. And I'll come to Igor, like I'll text him, like, which one do you think better? And sometimes I would hate it, like, I'll give you an example. Last year, we have like same thing, 5, 6 people in the office, and they did a thumbnail with a laser coming from my eyes, burning BBB. It was BBB video. I hated it. It was like 5 versions, and I hated the laser ones. And I asked my team, which one do you think? He's like, every single person pointed at laser. I'm like, really? It's the dumbest thumbnail, but they all voted for it, like, go for it. And you have to listen to the team, because it's not what you think, it's what other, like, ask your team, which video would you click on?
What do you think about making a picture specifically for the thumbnail? Do you think that that usually performs better? Because I don't ever see you do that in an
No.
actual video. So do you like have somebody take a picture for it?
We have a library of it, like we're due to another photo session. It's good practice. Sometimes I'll send 10 different pictures, like to my guy to pick. Usually you want to show sad emotion, happy emotion, mad emotion. There's like 5, 6 emotions. You want to have good pictures of that, higher quality, easier to work with. And, you know, like I grew my hair now, so now I'm due to next photo session, because if he's using me from 6 months ago, I look different. So you want to come back to it, so it's a little bit different.
I appreciate it. All right, well, let's move on.
Thank you, guys.
Actually, you know what? The last question I've got for you. How stringent are you guys on like brand standards? I see a pretty consistent look. So do you guys have like brand standards, and do you stick with it, or do you go outside of that to get like a more bright look or anything ever?
No, very much. I mean, Dmitry's, built this brand by following kind of quality over quantity, and there is that, there is that part of the brand that, he always wants, it to look professional and it to, grab attention. So I think that's, that's really important.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it, y'all.
You guys.
All right, I know that there's people out. What does
wait-
Jade do?
She had a baby on Friday.
Yeah. Sorry. What is her job normally?
So she manages vendors, anything with the sponsors, a partnership manager,
Yeah.
also content manager.
Awesome. And then I know that there's other teammates around the world, right? So
Yep.
how many other people are pretty
About
full time?
20 people.
20 full. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of people
Yeah.
that are doing stuff for
2
you guys.
in the United States. We have a team of like 10, 12 people in Moscow. We also have other agencies that we're working with, like 3 people here, 2 people here. But
Yeah.
most of them, I mean, they only work with us or we're their biggest client.
I want to talk with your brother here. I know
Sure.
he's down at this end office.
My name is Olek. I'm Dmitry's younger
this.
brother. I'm 27, and I have been living here in America for 6 months, I guess.
Awesome. So this is fresh stuff. So yeah, get up. So I'm not gonna lie, as an avid follower of Dmitry, somebody who is interested in this. I mean, most people are interested in your story, just so you know, and like how you got here. So my first question, I guess, is why? Why did you move to America?
So as you know, right now there is a war between Russia and Ukraine, and so I'm Russian. And 21st of September last year, our government started drafting people, especially young guys who served in the army. And my brother Dmitry called me and said that it would be too dangerous to stay in Russia, and I had to escape.
How did you make it? Like, cause I thought I saw Dmitry like going through Mexico or something like that.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So the way from Russia to the US was so difficult and long and nervous. I crossed 3 countries: Armenia, Turkey, and Mexico.
Why did it have to be that like complex?
Because of politics, because of immigration policy, and other things.
On the U.S. side or the Russia side?
From both. from
Okay,
both.
really?
From both sides, yes. And finally, we met in Mexico. We have not seen each other for 10 years, I guess. So we met, and I crossed the Mexican-American border.
What's different about Dmitry than when you knew him back in the day? What is? It's kind of weird, right? Because if you had a brother and then they became like a YouTube guy and roofing in the U.S., like what's different about him than when he was younger?
So when I was, to tell the truth, he is 12 years older than me, and I had quite a few memories about him when I was young. For example, when I was in primary school, I had the only. Now I have only one memory about him. We learn English alphabet together. Like maybe, of course, you know this song A B C D E F G. Yes, and he trained me, and I loved English because of him. Okay. And in Russia I decided to be an English teacher just because of these happy memories with him.
What do you think about America? So what do you like and what do you dislike about America so far? And by the way, no one's going to be offended. We all kind of know our own drawbacks sometimes. So.
Okay, so my first shock about America was on the Mexican-American border, because all the border officers were so polite to me. They were kind. I was calm, but they tried to calm me down and they told me a lot of times that it's gonna be okay. Don't worry. We understand you. We understand your political situation in your country, and it was shock for me, because in Russia,
Government officials might be a little.
Yes, yes, they are always, not always, but very often are too rude to you.
Yeah.
And here, an officer, a cop, he or she is a friend to you. He or she respects.
Some might disagree with you on that, but.
Okay, it is just my experience. It is just.
And then, like, what do you dislike about it so far? What have you?
As I have already said, I have been living here just for half of year, and I can't say that I dislike something. I just I can say that it is quite weird to me to long distances in America, like between your home and your shop. You have to go to your work, and you have to have a car. Everybody has a car here. Like a family has 2 or even 3 cars, and in Russia, just one car for a family. It's very good situation if you have at least one car.
Thank you. All right, and then we've got over here, this area here is another kind of setup. We've got the whiteboard over here, but where you see a lot of videos, I guess, of solo Dmitry. And I always find it pretty fascinating how good of lighting you guys get. Because this is like, I'm looking at it now, it could be anyone's living room, right?
It's a setup, so you need depth for some, like we're going for the look, so you want to find what you like on the internet. So we looked at a lot of YouTube channels for the looks that we like, and then you have to put the right lens, the right lighting, the right backdrop lighting.
And then you've got, you really light the background here, which I think is interesting. And I just want to kind of break this down for a second. We talked about business models on the podcast yesterday, but you've got the sponsors, right? And you kind of make it feel natural in here. We got to take a look at these bad boys. So somebody gave you this, and it's like, it's aged Jordans.
No, I bought them.
This box looks aged artificially or something.
This is why we like Nike. So it's a limited edition, lost and found. You can see it's all distressed. This is like original.
These look old.
Yeah, well, the story behind it, they actually were lost and found later. That's why they did what they did. So it's original wrapper from '83, and yeah, they do look.
Wait, these were actually old?
No.
Okay.
Well, the original. So the story behind the shoe, I guess they were shipped and lost, and when they recreated, it's lost and found. It's exactly what it is, and you can see the distressed look, distressed wrapper.
They look sweet. So are you gonna wear these or not wear these?
So I bought 2 pairs. I bought one kind of modern one, like first edition, not high heel. I don't think I'll ever wear this one, but I have a black and blue that I wore yesterday. Those I will wear.
The old newspaper thing calls back to your early days YouTubing when you found the classic newspapers in the attic.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful story.
Removing roof, found that they did not have insulation. They used newspaper in the insulation. There was here in Twin Cities. They have a company back in 20s and 30s. So it's called, within the 1,000 walls was their slogan, multi-cell was the name of the business. So they were taking old newspapers, stitching them in exact width, so you can install them between the studs, and they're stapling them. So if you think about R value, probably like R3, R4, still not a bad deal. And as we were removing them, we had to redeck the house. And we found them. So I'm like, this is not a garbage. Like, I mean,
what were some of the stories in that? I'm trying, like, you were looking through the newspaper.
Yeah,
and like,
I mean, it was they banned the alcohol at the time. So that, like, you could see advertising for vehicles. That was fascinating for me. I actually framed a lot of stories like Ford, like 2019 model Ford. So I gave it to like people around me. But long story short, I did a press release about it, just for the sake of it, like that we found it. I asked my roofers to salvage them and bring them to the warehouse. They hated it. It's like, what the heck? Why can I just throw it? I'm like, this is like history, 2030s. And local news companies like, hey, we like the story. Can we come to you? So they came, visited, and.
I mean, just a masterwork, a reminder that when little things happen. I think one of the things you called me curious, George. I like that. One of the things about you though is you're curious about things. And you dive into them, and that's what I would suggest for roofers out there that are looking. You see something interesting, you're curious about it. If you act fascinated and kind of intensely dive into it, people will come along for the ride and be interested with you, and that is journalism.
Yes, but it's also to be different. Like, we're all different. People don't do business with you because you're the best. You cannot convince me that you're the best. You have to be different. And when you're different and you position yourself as a different, people will connect to you with you way faster than if you try to position yourself being the best.
All right, let's talk to Igor. Igor.
Hey, man.
Classic. I know you don't like being on the camera.
Always behind the camera.
Yes, but I think you're an incredible part of Roofing Insights and Directory. So I want to ask you the spiciest question. He said, ask me a simple question, Tim. I said, we're giving you the hardest one. So you work so closely with Dmitry. And my question for you is, what do you love about working with Dmitry, and what's difficult about working with Dmitry?
Okay, what I love about working with Dmitry, it's first. You see, when we start traveling around the country with Dmitry 2 years ago, I really feel like a superstar. I know that Dmitry is a superstar, but it's like you're closer to him and everybody's know you. And also we have around more than 150 flights previous years, and I really like it because it's good experience for me, especially like an immigrant.
Yeah, because you've seen a lot of stuff around the United States.
Yes,
like you probably got to go do cool stuff.
I have only one state I have to cover.
Which
it's
one?
Alaska.
All right, well, you heard it here, Alaska roofers. It's time to sign up for a video package with Roofing Insights so they can come make your roofing company look like the stars that they are.
I'm not sure it's a lot, but sometimes we argue with Dmitry for some reasons. Maybe he made the really fast decision sometimes.
Yes.
But it's not so critical.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course we argue a lot.
So you can argue with him, and he's cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I mean, here's the deal. I'll just tell my employees right now, like I'm the same way. Like I'm very quick on decisions, and I'm probably frustrating sometimes to my employees. I do have a strong vision, and ultimately I'm not saying it's just finally like what I say goes. I do need your help, even though I'm kind of intense and go quickly. I think that you need that as a leader. You need to be able to get feedback, and you can't, because if you do the thing where you close off feedback completely, then it can be a bad spot. Basically, some superstars can put themselves in a spot where no one can give them feedback, and that's tough. That's a tough part about getting a lot of clout, basically.
By the way, I can't mention any point when his decision not to work.
Yeah.
Maybe it's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right way, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Thank you for letting us
You
visit.
can ask me why I have this.
Yeah, why? Oh no. Why socialism works. All right. Let's
Just
talk
to open it.
Okay. Here it goes. Are you guys ready? Oh, it's just it doesn't. All right. You heard it here, folks. Boom. All right. Well, thank you guys for letting us. Hey, Dimitri's out of here. Excuse me for asking your employee spicy questions. Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
The new space looks great. What do you have as far as like an offer right now that I can share with people?
I don't like to plugs. I mean, just check out roofinginsights.com. You'll see what we do. I mean, if you're a roofer, check out Roofing School. If you're a vendor, check out roofinginsights.com. Brands we recommend.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys checking this out and have a good one. The family.